Richmond.
Honourable Member for Richmond Hill.
Come to light that this government made a secret deal with the British and Dutch officials to build a new Afghan prison. Despite their written promise over a year ago to Afghan officials, there's nothing to show. This government must have known about the risk of torture when they agreed with our NATO allies to build a new prison. Instead of addressing our international obligations, our government is now apologizing for this empty promise. What exactly did this government know, and why is this letter surfacing now if the government has nothing to hide?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
To my knowledge, Mr. Speaker, to my knowledge, we've never been briefed on that, and I can confirm to you that the 2007 transfer agreement is in full force and in effect. And as I reminded his colleague, the 2007 agreement that this government negotiated grants us full and unrestricted access to detention facilities where detainees are transferred by Canadian forces, and there has been over, to date, 210 visits that have been made by Canadian officials to these facilities.
The Honourable Member for Richmond Hill.
On numerous occasions, Mr. Speaker, in public and in this House, the Conservative ministers have repeatedly said that Canada has no interest in building prisons in Afghanistan. Yet, this letter from the General Director of NDS proves otherwise. The government must have known that torture is a serious issue in Afghan prisons. The government was telling Canadians one thing while telling Afghan officials complete opposite. Canadians don't know what to believe from a government that keeps hiding the truth and gets caught hiding the truth. Why don't they stop this charade and call a public inquiry?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, let me remind my colleagues in the House, that Canada is not in the business of building or running Afghan prisons. Let's be clear on that. We are in Afghanistan to help the Afghan government build its independent capacity to manage its own affairs. And one of Canada's 6 priorities is helping the Afghan government to promote law and order, which includes its correction systems. And Canada has mentored Afghan prison staff and invested $5.5 million to improve that infrastructure, Mr.